Good evening, everybody, and thanks for clicking on to our website, newscentermaine.com, or checking us out on the app or on our Roku app. I'm meteorologist Mike Slifer. Wanted to give everybody an update with this storm system. Of course, we've been tracking this since before it even moved in here, but a couple of updates with the storm itself right now, a couple of changes that I wanted to pass along. We've still got some snow showers ongoing through upstate New York, down through the capital region into the Berkshires and parts of southern Vermont. Locally at home here in Maine, we've actually got some drier air starting to settle in through the western part of the state. Still some upslope snow showers continue in parts of northern New Hampshire, Coos County especially, and then over the border into Oxford and Franklin counties in Maine. Bangor area starting to see some of that lighter rain move in, not nearly as heavy as it was just a couple of hours ago, with the heaviest rain now starting to drift off to the east and away even from Washington County. A lot of that's going to be over the border in Canada. North of that, though, is where we've got some snow still mixing in. A very, very sharp cutoff between where the snow is falling and where the rain is falling. Not much mixing in between. Even the radar here showing a bit of mixing near Holton and south. I don't know how much of that is actually happening. It looks on the radar like it might be a little bit more snow being mixed in or just plain rain. Temperatures have been running fairly warm with this system too, which is part of the reason why we haven't been talking much about that classic sleety kind of setup that we get sometimes with these. Since temperatures were able to jump into the 40s for a lot of us, that really eliminates any threat for frozen precip. Wind gusts still strongest down east. Again, still keeping our eyes out for maybe some gusts approaching that 40 to 50 or even 60 mile an hour range. Current gusts all below 30 miles an hour along the coastline. And then inland, we've got Bangor at gusting to 33 right now, Greenville at 30. And notice the wind direction change from east to southeast to south to southwest. All of that happening from Eastport to Kittery. And this is part of the reason why we will actually keep the breeze around tomorrow as we shift our wind to be out of the northwest. That cooler air starting to move in, we can mix down some of those gusts. So it's going to be breezy tomorrow. And even though temperatures on Sunday afternoon are going to be fairly warm for this time of year, it'll feel colder with that breeze. Gusts expected to be around 25 to 30 miles an hour. Wave height still impressive though. Registering anywhere from about 15 to 20 feet, 20 feet happening down east, 15 feet still along the shoreline from Portland down through Saco and south to Wells and Ogunquit. And I do want to mention that with the tide reaching low tide and then eventually starting to come back in, by the time we get to our next high tide cycle, we'll be done with those strong wind gusts and the onshore flow. So that will hopefully mitigate those coastal inundation issues that we had earlier today. Let's walk through the next few hours. Storm continues to drop some snow through the northwest woods, but eventually that clears out overnight with upslope snow showers continuing in the mountains. Just a couple of things that will be different with these ones, though. That colder air settling in means that we will see fluffy snow versus the really thick, wet, and heavy snow we saw earlier. And I do think that some of the high peaks could squeeze out another 3, 4, maybe even 4.5 inches as these upslope snow showers continue for the remainder of the overnight hours and into Sunday morning. By 9 o'clock Sunday, we do start to clear things out, and then temperatures will fall a bit into the start of the work week. Here's the wind gust forecast. Haven't adjusted this much. A lot of areas basically west of the Penobscot Bay have already reached their highest gusts with this storms, and wind gusts are expected to actually subside a bit through the overnight hours. It's mostly just the coastline down east where we're still watching for some of those higher gusts to get mixed in. And then later on tonight, things will be a bit calmer before we start to see some stronger gusts during the day again tomorrow. I haven't made any changes to the snowfall forecast either. Still looking at the jackpot being roughly from the highest elevations in parts of Franklin, Oxford, and Somerset counties, about 8 to 12 inches. That's great news for Saddleback. It's great news for Sugarloaf. It's great news for Sunday River, and some of the smaller mountains too. Going to really get some natural snow, which is not something that we've had much of at all this month. It has been super quiet, except for New Year's Day, and up until this point, really haven't had much to talk about in the way of snowfall. This coating to 2-inch range that you see here, it stretches from Old Town all the way up to Millinocket. What happened is we had the snowfall, but the rain quickly washed that away because we transitioned so quickly. Still looking at about 4 to 8 inches for the northwest woods, maybe a couple spots in Aroostook County that get a little bit higher than that. Beyond this, the pattern actually still doesn't favor much in the way of big storms. But we do have this threat for some flurries at some point on Wednesday as we move a weak disturbance through. And then there's another one late Thursday into Friday. The late Thursday into Friday storm I'm watching because it has time to trend a little bit stronger and maybe drop a bit more snow if we can get it to trend stronger. But this pattern really isn't the type of pattern where we end up with those storms on lock locally. We'll see. Plenty of time for that to change. We've still got, 7 days to 6 days, I guess, to work the details out on that one. Seas tomorrow, 8 to 11 feet. West wind 20 to 30 knots, gusting to 40 knots. Inland, some mountain flurries. It'll be breezy. Similar idea on Monday. There could be a stray flurry. Continues to be breezy Monday, brighter and chilly on Tuesday. We trend drier for Wednesday versus other forecasts. And then again, Thursday into Friday, keeping an eye on those snow showers before we get into next weekend. Similar at the coastline, although we won't be talking about flurries on Sunday and Monday. Just watching whatever happens with that little weak system Thursday into Friday, and depending on temperature trends, maybe some mixing at the coastline. But right now, I'm hedging my bets towards some colder air settling in. Finally. Only took till the third week of January for us to feel more like the month of January, but here we are. Eyes are still set on the last week for maybe a colder and more stormy pattern. We'll see how things work out, but I know that some of the winter sports enthusiasts would love that cold. You can catch more. We'll have details and, of course, whatever changes with the forecast tonight after football on News Center Maine, and you can get more updates on our website and by following me on social media. Have a great night.